Hey everyone, it's Michelle. So today's video, I wanted to talk about basically recovering from your eating disorder, but having parents that are unsupportive and basically working through that process. Um, for me, my parents aren't very supportive, and what I mean by that is they don't believe that I should be in therapy. They don't see the need for therapy. They're not paying for half of the co-pays um, that of my sessions, and like so I have to pay for half of the co-pays, which I worked out with my therapist, so it's all taken care of. They don't think that anything is wrong. They think that they can just brush it all under the rug and pretend that nothing's up. And basically, I just wanted to make this video talking about like parents who are like mine and like the influence that they can have on you in your recovery process, but how you can work like around it. Um, I know a lot of people, like some people do have really supportive parents, and I'm like thrilled that you guys have parents like that. But there's still like the other people like myself who just don't have support from their parents, and it gets really hard to deal with when you're trying to move through recovery and you're trying to like do all these things like eat healthier and stuff, and then your family's like, yeah, I don't get it, stop going to therapy. Like, that just doesn't work. And so another thing that like always happens with me is because they don't want to see an eating disorder as an actual mental illness, they just want to see it as you just don't know how to eat properly, you got a poor diet and stuff. They overlook like what their words could have like the effect on me. And so like there have been like times where in my recovery my mom has said things to me that really I just like, if I wasn't working on recovery, if I was still in my eating disorder, that probably would have really, like, not even probably, it definitely would have really affected me, and I would have restricted even more. Um, for example, when like things that parents say is like, well, not parents. Okay, my brother always says this. Whenever I go to grab something to eat, he always calls me fat, and I'm like so self-conscious. But it's like he doesn't understand that him calling me fat, he doesn't know what fat means to me. To me, fat is worthless. It is vulnerable. It is uh, actually fat. It is like gross and ugly and stupid and just like somebody. When I think of fat, I think of somebody who is like less than, and like less than everybody around them. They're not equal. They um basically really have like everything wrong with them that you could think of. Like, oh, I can't stand the thought of being fat. And so to me, when you say like, oh, Michelle, you're fat, like that really hits me. Like, it's like things like that that they don't understand the meaning of what they're actually saying. Or one thing that my mom always says is, my mom is a very health conscious person, and whenever I eat candy, she'll always tell me that I am the poster child for adult onset diabetes. And so when you're like trying to learn, when you're working through your like recovery and you're learning to treat yourself and allowing yourself to have like just a little bit of candy, like you don't need a binge, but you can just have like a little bit, like having something like that saying that you're gonna get diabetes because you had like one bag of Skittles, like things like that like really just put you back in your recovery. But what you need to remember is that a lot of the times, okay, not a lot of the times, I, in my opinion, think that no one can really understand an eating disorder until they've had one. Um, I think that, I think just the reason behind that is, to me, it's really like, okay, my one friend who I told over the summer, she, like, okay, I told her about my eating disorder, and I said, oh, do you understand, like, why I do this? And she's like, no, like, I don't get why you would starve yourself. I don't get why you binge and purge, and I don't get why you exercise hours and hours at end. She's like, I just don't get it. But, like, I support you, like, because she admitted, like, she can't understand it, but, like, at least she can work past that and know that it might seem trivial to her that, like, I can't eat a plate of food, but to me, that's like the most overwhelming experience ever. And just for her to be able to support me and just be behind me, even if she doesn't understand it. So, a lot of the times it's because parents just don't understand eating disorders, which isn't to say every parent can't get a sense of what's going on with your eating disorder. It's just basically saying that there's kind of like, no matter what your eating disorder is, if you have suffered from an eating disorder and you talk to somebody else who has suffered, you you don't even need to talk. You just know what's like, you know what's going on. Like, if I was to say, guys, like, I feel fat today, anyone who had an eating disorder would know what that feeling of fat is. Not, oh my gosh, I think I've gained like 17 pounds, but like that feeling of lowliness and just worthlessness and ugly and stupid. And they know what that is because they've lived it, they've experienced it. Um, but I think in regards to your parents, you have to cut them some slack because they don't understand fully. For parents who aren't supportive like mine are, um, really, you kind of at that point just need to listen to your therapist and your doctors and just be like aware that your parents, okay, one thing, like I always say, we always talk about in my therapy, is that parents aren't supposed to be your therapists. They aren't supposed to be your best friends. They're supposed to be parents. They're supposed to, like, yeah, just be parents. And sometimes they need to, like, give up that, like, because, like, my parents just want to find the problem, fix the problem, and get it over with. But it doesn't work that way. Like, because what they do is they try and solve it like in easy steps, and it just like, recovering from an eating disorder isn't like bang 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 you're done. It's like a long process. And so basically, I know this video is like getting long and it's kind of like just talking about parents, but just to look at your parents and be like, it's not their fault if they're not supportive. I mean, I don't know what your situation is, but even in my situation, it's it's because there has been lack of education that they just don't understand, and that today's society doesn't preach well about eating disorders. That my parents have been misinformed about what eating disorders really are, um, and like how anything that they say could be detrimental to your recovery. So basically, I think that's all I really want to say, guys, because I just wanted to put that out there for anyone who feels like their parents are like not as supportive as they want them to be, just to keep that thought in mind. Yeah, so I guess that's it for this video, guys. If you have any video suggestions, or if you like what we're doing and just want to like kind of send your support our way, feel free to message below or send a message to our inbox, or you can write on our channel, because we just love hearing from you guys, because it's fun getting messages. I smile when I read messages. So, okay, I will talk to you guys next Monday, and I hope all of you have a nice week. Bye.